All right, I'm going to give you every reason why, if you are in the Village of Pewaukee or have received a citation, been convicted in court for anything in the Village of Pewaukee, take a listen to this. I would start getting your things together and filing motions to reopen on anything for these reasons. Listen. Why court clerks should never be police clerks. Separation of powers exists for a reason. A court clerk is part of the judicial branch. A police clerk is part of law enforcement. When one person holds both roles, they collapse the separation between a neutral court administration and active law enforcement operations. That is a structural conflict of interest. The court clerk must be neutral. A court clerk's job is to maintain court records, process filings, ensuring access to evidence, assisting all parties equally. A police clerk's job is handling police evidence, managing reports, supporting officers, and assisting prosecution. Those roles cannot be performed by the same person without bias. Evidence control must be independent. When the same clerk receives police evidence, stores police evidence, certifies police evidence, and certifies court records, they are essentially policing themselves. There is no independent verification, no chain of custody oversight, and no safeguard against withholding, altering evidence, selective production, delayed production, mislabeling, or quote-unquote losing evidence. This is exactly what happened in my case. Discovery rights under Wisconsin law are compromised. Wisconsin Statute 971.23 requires timely production, complete production, and accurate production. When the clerk is also the police clerk, they can decide what the defendant gets, decide what the defendant doesn't get, decide when the defendant gets it, and decide how much the defendant pays. That is illegal gatekeeping, and it happened to me repeatedly. The clerk becomes a witness, which is forbidden. If the clerk handled police evidence, processed police uploads, certified police records, communicated with officers, and managed surveillance footage, the clerk is a witness in this case. A witness cannot also be the court clerk. That violates judicial ethics, due process, neutrality requirements, and conflict of interest rules, and they do this purposely. It creates an appearance of bias, which is enough to violate due process. Even if the clerk tries to be neutral, the appearance of bias is enough to violate the 14th Amendment, Wisconsin constitutional due process, judicial ethics standards. Courts must avoid even the appearance of impropriety. The situation is impropriety in itself. It allows the prosecution to control the court through the court clerk. When the clerk is also the police clerk, the prosecution effectively gains control over evidence, control over records, control over scheduling, over access, and over what the defendant sees. That is structural corruption, not a clerical issue. It undermines public trust in the judicial system. People expect police to investigate, prosecutors to prosecute, courts to judge, and clerks to remain neutral. When one person merges two roles, the system looks rigged, because it is. It violates best practices, state guidelines, and national standards. Every judicial ethics body in the country agrees. Court clerks must not perform law enforcement duties. It is unethical, improper, structurally unsound, legally dangerous, grounds for sanctions, grounds for appeals, and grounds for federal civil rights claims. It directly caused problems in my case because the clerk was also the police clerk. I experienced withheld reports, missing pages, missing metadata, missing Cerberus logs, selective surveillance footage, contradictory statements, misrepresented discovery, delayed production, false claims of a complete file, mocking of my requests, and obstruction of my rights. This is exactly why the dual role system is forbidden. Court clerks don't get to be police clerks, not in Wisconsin and not anywhere, because the moment they do, justice stops being neutral and starts being controlled. Welcome to Lake Country Tea, where we expose it all. And here's where it gets really dirty. When the court clerk is also the police clerk, they don't just blur the line, they weaponize it. Because suddenly, the person who's supposed to give you the court discovery file is the same person that can now turn around and say, oh, that report? Oh, that video? You have to do a FOIA request. You're not entitled to discovery. And you have to pay for it. They create a paywall around evidence you're legally entitled to. They then deny it to you as the court clerk and sell it back to you as the police clerk. And if you push back, they hide behind whichever title benefits them in that moment. This is not confusion. It's not a mistake. It's a tactic. And that's a tactic that is ripping all of you off. It lets them drip feed evidence, delay cases, and control what the defendant has access to, all while pretending discovery is complete. And they all know it. Krilinski has gone into the circuit court and lied. Like he doesn't know what I'm talking about. He's disgusting. And that's what happens when one person controls both doors. They don't just guard evidence, they decide who gets punished for asking for it. contact me. I'm filing a federal civil rights claim. If you also think that you have a claim and you were treated like this, contact me at lakecountryt@gmail.com and we'll put together a class action suit. These people need to pay. They know what they're doing. They think it's funny. It's not funny. Just wait until I play you the Judge Murray, and her conduct in court. Oh, I'm gonna play it all of it. Buckle up.